Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mrutangamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, almost 1.5 months before, 6 weeks before, we were discussing the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, yoga based on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. We had tried to discuss or try to know about Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, and Pratyahara. So, in the last class, we did try to discuss about Asana and also Pranayama and Pratyahara. So, basically, in the Pratyahara, we saw it is trying to withdrawal of the mind. The mind keeps going for different places. For an example, this is a common problem, a common complaint about the mind is Swamiji, I am trying for a lot of time, I am unable to control the mind, or I am unable to concentrate the mind. So, fair enough, because this is the common problem from the aeons, from the years together. The Arjuna, he himself was Maharati, a great militant or the powerful man. He himself said, Vayor iva sudushkaram. Controlling the mind is as good as difficult as controlling the wind. You cannot catch the wind, you cannot control the wind. So it is almost like impossible. So similarly, even controlling the mind is almost impossible, but very, very difficult. Asamshayam Mahabhav. Krishna says yes. He doesn't say no, it is not so like that. No, he's very practical and he's sticking onto the truth. He says, yes, Arjuna, no doubt. Controlling the mind is Herculean task. It is difficult task, but possible. How? Abhyasa and Vairagya, by practice and detachment. So in the Pratyahara, what is happening? And when we say all these things, the devotees say, Swamiji, we are trying, but we are not able to concentrate. We are not able to control. Then generally I ask them, okay, fair and how much time you are trying to practice meditation? Swamiji, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And if someone says 1 hour, it is a great thing actually. Then generally I say, see, just for an graduation, how much time, how long you spend? Say around at the age of 6, you start your first standard, class 1, then till your graduation, more or less 14 to 15 years we spend just to have one graduation. And every day 6 to 7 or 8 hours in school, and again maybe we may be doing some studies in the house and paper assignments and homework and projects, and when we go to advanced courses we may go for tuitions, etc., with some places. So basically every day we are spending at least 8 hours, even 5 days if you take. So weekly we are spending 40 hours, and for 8 to 9 months every year, if you say for 15 years you spend so much time and energy, and we get a graduation. And controlling the mind, just 15-20 minutes or half an hour you sit for meditation, and you should be able to control the mind. It is really foolish to think in such a way that just because 15-20 minutes or half an hour you are trying to meditate and you should be able to control your mind, concentrate your mind, it is not possible. That's the reason Swami Yatishvanji says, if you want to practice half an hour meditation, 23 and half hours, you have to prepare your mind to meditate. That's why my Gurudev teacher is to tell, there is no holiday for spiritual life. So keeping this in mind, we have to think about spiritual life. Otherwise, we become negative, or we feel that, oh, it is not possible for me. Spiritual is not possible for me. Meditation is not possible for me. And controlling the mind is not at all possible. So then what to do? Leave the mind let free. Let us enjoy. Let us have a merrymaking. So such type of conclusions might come with the people. So we have to be careful enough. So we need a quality of time and quantity of time. Both are included, are required for control of the mind. So to control of the mind or for meditation, we have to do a lot of preparations. Meditation we are trying to do, but we are not able to meditate, we are not able to concentrate. Why? Because yama, niyama, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, all these things. Seventh step is dhyana. That means you need a good amount of exercises, physical exercise, mental exercise, emotional exercise, so that you should have a maturity. It can be intellectual maturity, it can be it has emotional maturity, and tranquility. All to certain extent when you attain, then only the meditation is possible. So if you go directly to directly to start practice meditation, just if you go directly to do graduation, it is not possible. Similarly, directly if you try to practice meditation, it is not possible. That is the reason Patanjali has given these steps: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and pratyahara. So when you try to practice them to certain extent, your body and mind is controlled. Your body and mind is disciplined. Our body and mind is tamed. Our body and mind is trained in that particular fashion. Then certain amount of meditation or good amount of meditation is only possible. Then this you have to be clear and careful. Now we all say, "Oh, Swamiji, we are trying to practice meditation." Fine. Are we really trying to practice meditation? No. Actually, we are trying to practice dharana. In pratyahara, you are trying to control your mind. You are trying to withdraw your mind. Say, for an example, you sit for meditation, you are trying to concentrate your mind probably on a flower or on a god or on the consciousness. After no time, it goes somewhere. It might think about people you met. It might think about the situation happened in your life, the same day or the earlier days, or it might go to some places where you during excursion you had. So after some time, suddenly you'll come to understanding. Oh, my mind has gone somewhere else. Again, you try to withdraw. Then it goes back. Again, you try to bring it back. That is what pratyahara. Then dharana is what? Trying to fix the mind on the desired object. Pratyahara is bringing, withdrawing the mind, forcefully bringing the mind from the different objects. And dharana is what? Trying to fix the mind on the desired object. That's why dharana is what? Nothing but collection or concentration of the mind. The meaning is, or the act of holding onto, the act of retaining. This is what dharana. Now, yama to pratyahara, these are the 5 years called bhairanga sadhana, external spiritual practices. And this dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, it is pertaining, it is called by Patanjali as antaranga sadhanani. That is internal, internal spiritual practices. So, desha bandhas chittasya dharana. That's how the Patanjali defines what is dharana. Dharana is the mind's fixation on a particular point in the space. So on the particular object, on the particular idea, on the particular content, we are trying to fix the mind. So for 12 seconds, if you are able to fix your mind on a particular object, then you have achieved dharana. So we are trying to practice dharana. Actually, we are not trying to practice dhyana. We have to understand very clearly. Now, what is the intention of dharana? Intention of dharana is what? Trying to increase our focus on the retention on the desired object. So, Patanjali or Vyasa, in his commentary on the Patanjali Sutra on dharana, he gives different techniques. Like these are the techniques which are practiced by yogis. Fixing the mind on the navel, on the navel circle, one can fix on the mind and one can try to meditate. And some people also, they try to fix their mind and they try to meditate in their sahasrara, that is in the effulgent center of the head. Though it is told in the yogic practices, but the Holy Mother Sharda Devi tells it is not advisable for everyone to try to concentrate in the forehead. Why? Because it is Until otherwise you got enough maturity and enough purity, your head may get heat up, and there can be derail of the mind. So that's the reason. So this trying to meditate in the sahasrara is not advisable. Then some people try to concentrate on the tip of the nose or tip of the tongue. This is also a part of sadhana. And some people, they try to they keep the room dark, and they light a candle or they light the lamp, and they try to fix their mind, fix their vision on the tip of the light or the candle. So these are the different techniques to practice dharana. And one more very prevalent, the yogic method of technique, meditation technique, which was available in the olden days, was trying to fix your mind in the lotus heart, which is nothing but spiritual art. Even in the Ramakrishna mission tradition, even today, this is practiced. So this is not started by yesterday or day before yesterday or few years before. This was the yogic practice which was well established in the earlier days. If not, then we can also try to fix on external objects. Like you can imagine sun, you can imagine a moon, mountain, or a flower, or maybe ocean, sky. So external objects, you can take an object of meditation, and we can practice dharana according to the Vyasa. And one more interesting thing is the knowledge of the tattvas. Means, for an example, a concept on a particular subject, you can take, for an example, purusha. What is purusha? What is prakriti? What is asmita? Based on Sankhya philosophy, I'm telling. So one can meditate on them actually. So it's a knowledge meditation. It is nothing but contemplation. So these are different type of dharana practices are described, discussed in the Vyasa's commentary in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Now, but before dharana, the commentators, they say that by doing yama niyama and pranayama and pratyahara, what happens? By this time, you are supposed to get the emotional maturity. So this is what very important. Some of the commentators say. What do you mean by emotional maturity? So suddenly you don't, what you say, your mind doesn't get disturbed for small things, and someone praises or someone blames. Immediately we are reactive. Someone praises, immediately we are all feel happy, just like balloon getting expanded, we feel that we are getting expanding. And someone criticizes. It might be simple criticism, but we feel very down. That day I don't have a mood to work. I don't have a inclination to do anything. Why? I am down because someone criticized me. So for small things or for petty things, our mind is getting agitated, our mind is getting disturbed. That means there is no emotional maturity. Now, when you practice yama niyama, these spiritual disciplines, then what happens? Mental maturity and emotional maturity is attained. Then your such mind is ready to practice dharana according to the commentators. So in dharana, by trying to fix the mind on one particular object, what is happening? The abhyasa is established. Means we are trying to practice exercise our concentration on one object at one time. At that point of time, we are trying to concentrate our mind on a single object. The same thing includes, it is also trying to prevent our mind by thinking different objects. So because I am trying consciously, willfully, I am trying to fix my mind on a particular object, desired object, so that is making me to stop thinking of other objects. So for an example, when we are listening to a discourse, so I am trying to listen to discourse. So when you are concentratedly with all consciousness and willfully you are trying to listen to discourse, obviously your mind is not thinking anything else. That is what the dharana. So what is the difference between dharana and dhyana? In the dharana, the meditator, the act of meditation and the object of meditation, all the three are well aware. Triputi. Like I am meditator and I am meditating on, say for example, on lotus flower, and the process of meditation. So all these three I am well aware. So I am meditating and I'm meditating on the rose flower, and I'm meditating and I'm meditating on the rose flower. All these three are well aware. This is what happens in meditation. And it is like a small drops of rain. In the rain, there are droplets. So in between, there are small gaps between the first drop to second drop. Whereas if it is a heavy rain, then the rainwater is continuously flowing. So that continuous flowing, like Taila Dharavata, they say, that is what meditation. Like now, just it is drizzling. It's slowly few droplets are falling when the rain started. So that can be considered as, or that can be uh, thought as dharana. Now, interestingly, again, when you go deeply, this dharana, there are five types of dharana actually. So, in generally in the books, it has not been discussed. I mean, only with few yogic texts. When you go deeply, these things are discussed. So, in the dharana practice, so some of the authors or the yogis, they say that Manipura chakra is very very important. The Manipura chakra is like on the, near the behind the navel base actually. That is also called solar plexus. So this Manipura chakra is a very important. Why they say according to them, it is the base for the prana and for all the energies. Interestingly, we have seen in Belur Matandal when we what you say burn the dead bodies of the monks, the whole body, even the bones and everything gets burnt. But this Nabi, the navel base, it takes a lot of time. Even some portion of the navel base, it doesn't get burnt at all. Then that will be disposed of. Anyhow, so this is what the adhara for the prana shakti according to the yogis. Now there are five types of dharana, and these five types are based on the five elements, Panchabhutas. We all know Akasha, ether, then Vayu, air, then Apa, water, then Agni, fire, and Prithvi, earth. Five elements. The whole world is made up of these five elements. We all know that. So, based on these five elements, there are five types of dharana techniques. Now, the first dharana technique is called Prithvi dharana. Prithvi Dharana, now, again, interestingly, in our Vedic philosophy and in our Vedanta, whatever the whole world is made up of, say five elements, from the same five elements, even this body is also made up of. So there is a connection between the individual and the cosmos or the universe at all times. That is called Brahmanda and Pindanda, and microcosmos and macrocosmos. So Vivekananda, when he during his traveling days in Almora, he had a vision, he had an experience how there is a connection between the microcosmos and macrocosmos. There are not two different things. There's a beautiful experience he had in a Kakdi Ghat. So the whole world is made up of five elements, fine, and this body is also made up of five elements. Now, the yogis, with their intuitive faculty of the mind, with the power of intuition, they have understood and they have experienced. So they say that from the feet, from our feet to knees is what called the Prithvi portion, it seems. From our feet to the knees is what the Prithvi Tattva, it is made up of Prithvi Tattva, and it is in yellow in color, and the Varna is, on the Sanskrit alphabet is what a Lam. So one who wish to do this Prithvi Dharana, one can meditate, they concentrate their mind from the knee to the leg, feet, and they can repeat the Bija mantra called Lam. And every day for 2 hours, if you practice, then Dharana is what attained. By that, what happened? You will have a mastery over death, it seems. So if you get established in this Prithvi Dharana, then you will have a mastery over death and you will win over the Abhinivesha. What is Abhinivesha? Fear of death. I'm a millionaire. I've got millions of euros in my account, but still I fear for disease. I fear for death. Say for an example, I'm a millionaire. Suddenly, doctor came. I mean, I had some health issues. I went to doctor, and the doctor said, "We are sorry that you have got some deadly disease. Your days are numbered." Immediately, I feel morose. The whole millions of euros are there, but I feel it is of no avail for me, and because I've got enough fear of death. The fear of death is a common phenomenon, a common instinct in every being, animals, birds, reptiles, human being. Now, whoever did this Prithvi Dharana, he will win over this Abhinivesha, fear of death. And he will be the mastery over the death, basically. Then the second type of dharana is called Ambhasi Dharana. Means here, basically, it is pertaining to the Apa, the water principle. So from the knees, Now the Prithvi Dharana from the feet to the knees, and this Ambasi Dharana is from the feet to the anus. So the almost from me to the thighs and all to the anus. This portion is made up of what do you say, apa tattva. So one can meditate on that, and the bijakshara is given is vam actually. So one can fix their mind on this particular body, and one can also try to repeat the vam, the bija mantra vam. By doing that, one can do with pranayama, one can practice concentration by uttering the vam. Both are is done. And generally here the yogis tell that one can also practice repetition of the bija mantra vam, and also one can try to contemplate on the Lord Narayana's universal form, or Lord Narayana with a four arms and a crowned head and dressed in orange colored clothes and etc. By practicing this every day for 2 hours, I mean 2 hours is just maybe suggestive time, I used to say it can be half an hour, 1 hour, or 3 hours, 4 hours in time. It is only suggestive time. So one who does that, he will get free from all types of impurities and all types of sin. Again, sin I'm using from the Vedanta point of view, not from the Christian point of view. And he will not have any fear from the water. There will be a lot of water phobia with many people. When they see rivers, when they see sea, ocean, and all, many people have a fear. Now, who does this? Ambasi Dharana, he will not have fear from the water, and he will be free from all types of impurities and all types of sins. So he will be full of purity, basically. Then the third type of dharana is what? Agneyi Dharana. Agneyi Dharana can be meditated, can be used as an object of meditation, seat of meditation from the anus to the heart, actually. From the anus to the heart is a place made from Agni Tattva, according to the yogis, and one can try to concentrate their mind in this area. And here, Ram is what? The Bija mantra. So one can try to meditate and try to fix their mind in the particular portion of the body, and one can chant the Bija mantra called Rise, Ram. And one can do pranayama by uttering the Ram also, Anloma Viloma or Puraka Kumbhaka Rechaka. All these things are done. And here one can, if wish, if he is a believe in the existence of God, he can also contemplate on the Rudra, who has got three eyes and trident and the Damaruga, all these things. So one who meditates on this every day and one who gets established in that, then what happens? He will win over the fire, and fire will not burn him, it seems. And this type of boon we can see with the Prahlada's aunt actually. Prahlada's aunt, she did a lot of tapas, and she got a special boon from Brahma, that fire cannot burn her into ashes. In the whole world, everything is been will be burnt by the fire, isn't it? But she had a special boon from the Brahma that fire cannot touch her, and even if she stands on the pyre of wood and fire has been lit, and if she's sitting in the firewood, and she will not be burnt. She had a special boon. So you can win over the fire, and you will not be burnt by the fire, you will not be disturbed by the fire, and you will have the command over the fire, basically, from the Agni Dharana. Then the fourth type of dharana is Vayavya Dharana. Vayavya Dharana is like the physical place is from the heart to the middle of the eyebrows, from the Anahata to the Agna Chakra, basically. So Vishuddha is also included. So this portion is what? Vayavya Dharana. So this is the object seat of meditation. And here Yam is the Bija mantra, because Yam is the Vayu's Bija mantra. That's the reason. And one can think that Ishvara is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, is there everywhere. And one can imagine on the God's power, yogic power. And one can meditate uttering the word Bija mantra, Vayu. Then what happens? Then he will have a win over the Prana Shakti. At his will, he can control if he can breathe, he may need not to breathe, and he will get a lot of energy, and the tiredness, all these things will not be there for such a person. Then the last type of dharana is what? Akasha. Akasha is from the center of the eyebrow to the sahasrara, to the tip of the head. And here Hum is the Bija mantra. So one who thinks of Sadashiva, one can think of the Lord. Sadashiva is the Ishvara, means again, is the creator and the sustainer, dissolver, like that. One can meditate on that by telling the Hum. Then he get all the siddhis. See this like anima. Anima means you will become like atomic structure, will become the very small structure. If you read Ramayana, if you read Ramayana, you'll be able to know Hanuman became very small, tiny, and he wanted to enter the gate in the because Lankini was as a watchman, she was protecting the gate, main entrance of the Lanka kingdom, Ravana's kingdom. So he became such a tiny, and he wanted to enter so that even common people cannot see that, like maybe in like ant. Anima, Mahima means becoming a very huge impersonal or ghari, I mean, like this Vashikaranatva, Vakpatutva, there are Ashtasiddhis. So, this Akasha Dharana, by doing that, you'll be getting these supernormal powers. Now, when we hear this type of dharana, five types of dharana, we think, what is this? Why is it required? All these things. So, these are the different type of meditation techniques has been given by our yogis, making our own body as the seat of meditation or as an object of meditation. One is trying to meditate. And by this Pancha Tattva, if you are trying to do that, what happens? Then it is called Adhikarika Purushas or Praktilaya Purushas in the Sankhya philosophy. You will have a win over these five gross elements. If you wish, for an example, if you got the Vayuta, I mean, Ambasi Dharana, at your will, you can bring the rain. So, like this, we have seen with many great science life. At their will, they can bring rain. At their will, they can bring so many things. Why? Because they have win over the mind and they win over these particular elements. Because of that, they can do a lot of this. It is called miracles. So, by controlling the body and by using the body instead of as an obstacle for spiritual life, using the body as a medium to progress in the spiritual life is what the main attention or the main focus or the goal of the yogis. So getting the spiritual, I mean, getting the ashtasiddhis, getting the miraculous powers is not the intention of the yogis. Superpowers is not the intention of the yogis. The yogis' intention is what? Purifying the mind and trying to have the emotional maturity and trying to prepare the mind so that it can get ready for the next step, which is called Dhyana. And Dhyana is what? The seventh limb in the meditation. Now, there are a lot of misconceptions are there in the meditation. Someone, I mean, interestingly, I'm not judgmental, but generally I say, sometimes people do come and say, Swamiji, had a good meditation. I said, thank you, very good, happy to know. Continue, please continue. Then they say, Swamiji, I sat for meditation yesterday and I didn't know how much time it went. Like when I opened, it was 1 hour, 1.5 hours. If that is the case, then most of the time it is sleep. Because you are tired, you are trying to concentrate your mind, you are trying to force your mind to concentrate. At some point of time, you will get into sleep. So the sleep is not the meditation. We have to be very clear about it. So you sit for meditation, in no time, you forget everything and you don't know how much time it went after 15 minutes or half an hour, 45 minutes, and suddenly you get up and you feel you felt so happy. Yeah, because you have got some relaxation by the sleep, you will get some feeling, some happiness, but that is not the meditation. So sleep is not meditation. Now, suddenly, say for example, someone is interested in particular thing. For example, I had a project, I have to do it. Then I was doing a project, and my mind was completely focused on that. 2 or 3 hours, my mind was focused on that, but naturally, and I finished my project. Then is it? Then am I established in meditation? If you say no. Why? Because the meditation is the willful conscious practice actually. It is a willful conscious practice is what the meditation. And it is a wonderful search tool. If you use your mind, if you focus your mind, and if you can get the meditative state, what happens? At that mind, if you focus on a particular object, you will be able to get the secrets of that. For example, you are trying to focus your mind and you attain that meditative state, and in that meditative state of the mind you focus on in a particular object, then you will get the knowledge of that particular objects. That is in the external, in the mundane affairs. The same thing if it is turned inside. Avrutta chakshur amrutatvam ichcham. Amrutatvam ichcham, desiring the immortality. Avrutta chakshu, turn inward. That's what the rishis did in the way back in the India, thousands of years before. They found out so many things. They found astra shastras, different weapons, and they, I mean, metallurgy was done, and so many things, so many cosmology and astrology, astronomy, so many things they were able to, I mean, get the knowledge. And after all these things, then they found there is no end to this, and there is no real happiness. There is no eternal happiness. There is no eternality in all these things. Then they started searching. At some point of time, their attention got inward, and they went inside, and they found out that whatever is there inside, that is what spirituality or consciousness or spirit or atman you say, that is the reality. Once you understand, that is the you can attain the eternality, and that is the truth. That's why they went inside, and they found, and they taught the brahma gnana, or the self knowledge, through the upanishads. So the meditation is the wonderful, powerful inward tool which we can be used for the realization of the God, realization of the self, or the self-actualization. So that same meditative mind, if you use for the empirical, you will get a knowledgeable person. And if the same thing you use in a spiritual insight, then you will be the spiritual luminary, and you will get liberated. The same thing we can see in all the scientists actually. So they take some problem, or they take a particular concept, they take a particular an idea, and they keep on thinking, and they keep on working for a long time, for hours together. So much so that at some point of time, they'll be able to invent, they will be able to discover. So they're inventing, they're discovering means it is there already, they only discovered. So to discover, they prepared their mind on that particular object. That's why Swami Vivekananda says knowledge is internal in nature. Whatever the knowledge we are seeing, we have been seen, and we are studying, and so many inventions and discoveries are happening from the scientists. All of them are there in ourselves. Then for okay, if he was able to get discover, then why I am not able to discover? If you try even in that particular method, in a particular way, even you one can try that very clearly. That's what Swami Vivekananda says. Knowledge is internal in nature. Then I'm going to school, attending classes, attending seminars, and I'm trying to listen to the knowledge from the different people. Then why should I do all these things? Then let me meditate and let me get it. Yes, it can be done, but now the teachers are the only facilitators. That's where the present education philosophy is telling the teachers are the facilitators. So they only facilitate an individual or a student to get a particular knowledge. So, for an example, when I'm listening to the maths class, the mathematics teacher is teaching the mathematics. What is happening there? She is giving the mathematics knowledge. We are all thinking. He or she may be also thinking. We are also thinking, but it is actually by listening to that, the only the layer of ignorance has been removed. So no new knowledge is possible actually. No new knowledge is possible. No new knowledge can happen, can come. It is only is there inherent already. So only by doing, by hearing, by thinking, by doing homeworks, projects, etc., we are removing the layer of ignorance which has been covered on our soul or on our self. That's why knowledge is inherent in nature. So all the infinite power is inherent in us. By the meditation, we'll be able to manifest. That's why meditation is the concentrated, willful, powerful technique, or the searchlight, you can say. For example, if you see in the ocean and all, there are searchlights, focus lights. So by that, people can see where the boat is going and etc. So similarly, the meditation is the searchlight by which one can understand who am I. Now, there are different types of meditations actually. What are the different types of meditations? One is subjective meditation, objective meditation, subject object meditation, and process meditation. These are the all the different techniques. Either you can say in Buddhism, in Theravada, or in Mahayana, or in Hinayana, or in Vajrayana, for example, in Buddhism, and Christian schools are there, and in Sikhism there are something, and in Hinduism also in Vedantic techniques. All the meditation techniques, if you put, there can be classified into four groups. What is it? One is subjective meditation. The second is objective meditation. The third is subject object meditation. The fourth is process meditation. Then what is the subjective meditation? So our subject meditation is what? The meditation on the subject. This is nothing but the Advaitic meditation or the Vedantic meditation. Whoever has heard my Aproksha Anubhuti classes, there are 8 to 10 types of different type of techniques I have discussed. And I think Drugdusha Viveka time also I have discussed. And in Aproksha Anubhuti class while I was taking, I have discussed these things in the detail actually. So in the subject meditation, generally we do self-enquiry. Who am I? Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful example, a simple example to make us understand this self-enquiry. A villager was taken by an officer to the palace. So the villager is going first time to the palace. He has neither seen the palace nor he has seen the king actually. So the villager was supposed to meet the king because king has summoned him or king has called him. Now villager got ready with all enthusiasm, with all inquisitiveness. He came to the palace. In the first entrance itself, then two soldiers were standing with their own arms. And they were well dressed basically. By seeing them, the villager, with his pure innocence, he thought, this may be a king. Then the villager asked that officer, is he a king? Then the officer said, no. Then he said, okay. Then they went, the first door opened, and he went little inside. In the second door, and again there were soldiers were standing, and their dress and other things were better. Then villager said, I think probably he's the king. He's the king. Then the villager asked the officer, oh, then he's the king, isn't it? Then the officer laughs and says, no. So like the third, fourth, fifth doors he goes. So every time the soldiers or the people who were there in and around, their dresses are better and they've got costly dresses, their makeup and costumes are better. So every time he was thinking that he may be the king, he may be the king. But after covering 6 or 7 doors, when he goes and when he sees a king, the villager never asked the officer, is he a king? By seeing that splendor and by seeing that gorgeous things and by seeing the king's costumes and all, he was convinced that yes, he is the king. And so he didn't ask the officer whether he's a king or not. So just he started seeing him, and he got really carried over by that splendor and all the riches and whatnot. So this is what actually happens in the Neti Neti Marga. I'm thinking like physical body. Most of the time, though we say it is my hand, my body, my eyes, my head, but we are behaving as if I am the body, I am the hand, I am the eyes. How? Because something happens to my hand and I am morose. Why? Because I'm thinking that something happened to me. It didn't happen to me actually. Something has happened to my body. For example, you are talking, suddenly there was someone came and dashed, and your mobile fell down and screen got broke. My mobile screen got broke. I didn't get break. Though I may be fit morose, but still I understand that mobile is different from me. So similarly, body is also different from me, but it is most of us, we have attached ourselves and we are undergoing a lot of sufferings. So the Vedanta says that try to make the self-enquiry and separate yourself. It is not the physical separation, it is only cognitive separation. So you are thinking that this body is also a tool and a weapon given by the Lord. Just like we use a mobile to talk, we use a car or a vehicle for a transportation, for traveling. So similarly, this body is also a weapon or a tool. So this physical body, I am not the head, I am not this physical body or eyes or whatever. Then when you go inside self-inquiry, then you will say that I am not even the subtle body. I am not the mind. I am not the thoughts. I am not the emotions. I am not the feelings. I am not the sense organs of knowledge, sense organs of action. Then you go little inside, then even I am not that ego so much. So we are all so much, what do you say, it looks like as if it is inseparable, myself and ego. Even I am not that pseudo ego. Then when you go inside, then you will not be able to tell, I am not. Then you will be that, what is that? That consciousness or whatever. This is what called Niti Niti Marga. Like this, there are different Upanishadic statements, Upanishadic mantras, Gita, shlokas. One can take them and one can try to meditate on their meanings and one can try to reach the self. That is what the subject meditation. For example, Nainam Chindhanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavakaha, Nachainam Kledayanti Apo Nashosheti Maruta. I am the self, where the nature of the self is what? No weapon can kill it, and air cannot dry Water cannot wet and fire cannot burn. Why? Because Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purano. I am Aja, I am birthless. Nitya, I am eternal. Shashvata, again, I am there always. Then Purana, I am very ancient. Ajo Nitya Shashvato Purano. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Even if the body is killed, if I am killed, so this body is killed, I am not killed. Why? Because I am not the body. So these are we might have heard, but this has to be carefully, thoughtfully. We have to think. We have to think so much time and again, so much so that it has to become the experience, or it has to become conviction. When we hear all Advaitic talks, it is all nice. When a phone call, when someone's talk or some conversation or someone's accusations, it will make us to disturb and all our Vedanta gets flight and we start behaving in a erratic way. Why? Because our understanding and the practice, there's a lot of difference. So our understanding has to be translated into action. For that, one has to do Advaitic meditation. That is what the subject meditation. In the subject meditation, and also people also can do the Shabda Aparoksha Dhyana, means taking, for example, Tattvamasi, Mahavakya Vichara we say in the Advaita Vedanta. Tattvamasi, Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. So taking one word, what is that Tat? Tat means that it is say Brahman, you can say that Satchidananda, Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. So these are not the qualities, it is the inherent nature of the Brahman, that's the nature of Brahman. One can do that. Then Tvam, you. You means I. What is that I or you? Means it is not the body and mind, or it is not the Alpatva, it is not the sufferer and etc. It is the completely the self alone, Satchidananda. And the Brahman and the Jivatma, individual self, and the Supreme Self, both are one and the same. So this understanding and the inquiry is what the Mahavakya Vichara. So one can do meditation on this also. So these are like few examples for subject meditation. Then what is object meditation and subject object meditation, process meditation? Probably we shall try to discuss in the next week. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.